It's Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Wednesday, October 11th. So today we have the moon in Virgo all day, which means that we're kind of stuck in our headspace. We're trying to really examine what is crazy, what is chaotic, what is broken, what needs to be fixed, what needs to be healed, what needs to be put back into order. Of course, the Virgo energy is on the axis to help us heal our physical realm, our physical bodies, our mental plane, our mental dialogue, our mental perspective. And we are going to do that by really sorting through what it is that's overwhelming to us. We're going to simplify things. We're going to put the tunnel vision goggles on and really focus in on the smaller details that are creating this disruption in our mental plane and our heart space. And because we're in Libra season, and because the whole point is to explore the extremes and to find a sweet spot, a new balancing point, we have the opportunity to weigh the pros and cons, to really kind of sort through, process the details a little bit more clear, more concise, and really come to a different perspective, a different understanding. So there is also this pressure here today that we are feeling because Mars, the god of war, ruling over our physical energy, our drive, our passion, our desires, even our anger, is in the final degrees of the Libran energy. And of course, he's been stunted out in this particular aspect. He is stuck in the intellectual battlefield. He wants to take action. He wants to make moves, but he has been blocked from doing so. We've been stuck in the mental plane, sorting out the pros and cons, really coming up with a plan, with the strategy on how it is that we want to take action, the moves that we do want to make, the changes and transformations that have to absolutely manifest in our physical realm for a major change and transformation in our physical realm to actually manifest. We have been really in a difficult spot with Mars in this Libran energy. And now that we're nearing the final degrees and we're preparing for Mars to move into Scorpio energy here tomorrow, again, listen to the astro forecast on that. This is going to be a lot of pressure in the mental plane, a lot of edginess, a lot of restlessness, a lot of agitation in the physical body. The impulse control is going to get super high, and the frustration that we're having over the amount of indecision that we're currently sitting in is definitely going to get to us. So with that being said, there are 11 different aspects here today, and 9 of them are going to involve the moon. We have the sun, though, in Libran energy, opposing, sitting directly across from Chiron, the wounded healer, who, of course, is retrograde in Aries energy. This has been an energy that we have been kind of building up to over the last day and a half. We have been really sitting in our fears, our doubts, our insecurities. Why is that, you may ask? Because we're on the cusp, on the precipice of being able to make a major move, make major changes. Also considering the fact that we are very much in eclipse energy, where we have to kind of be at the mercy of the cosmos to show us where it is that we have to make moves, what it is that we have to do. Of course, we're open to expecting the unexpected with this eclipse energy. There is a buildup, if you will, of taking our power and control back. Of course, we just had Pluto go direct here yesterday. Take a listen to that astro forecast if you haven't already. This is a major buildup of energy, of warrior spirit, of the physical focus that we need to have on the plan, on the path, on the strategy that we are now going to exert in the external realm and actually bring to life. This is a big week. Take a listen to the ascension forecast that I put out for this week if you haven't already. We have a lot of swirling energies coming at us, a lot of physical symptoms taking place because of it. Please stay ahead of the energy. Anywho, we've been building towards this particular aspect. This is really exposing our fears, our doubts, our insecurities, but the sun, of course, shining a bright light on this Libran energy, where it is that we have to balance these energies out. We are more, I'm going to say, bold and brave and confident enough to actually confront it. We're not running away. We're not burying our head in the sand. We've done that. We've sat in the corner. We've kind of whined. We've complained. We've done the victimhood narrative. Oh, woe, poor is me. Now we're bossing up. Now we're getting real and raw and vulnerable with the fears, the doubts, the insecurities that are percolating within us, especially where indecision is concerned and especially where relationship dynamics are concerned. Of course, we're in Libra season. Eclipse season inside of Libra season is about to sort out relationships in a big way. Only the realest, truest soul contracts are going to be left standing after this eclipse season, especially where it's taking place in Libran energy. So we're kind of low on our confidence, low on our faith, we're low on our decision making, and we're a little bit hesitant to have interactions because we're really on the edge. We feel like we're about to explode, if you will. We don't know if we're going to have a screaming fit or if we're going to break down in tears. Regardless, there is attention that is needed to address some of these emotions rising to the surface. And of course, the only way that we can do something about it is to balance those energies between our heart and our head, between our inner realm and our outer realm, and of course, having those conversations if need be in order to find a common middle ground in our relationship dynamics. The moon in Virgo is then going to interact with the North Node in Aries energy. Of course, this is our soul path. This is the destiny point. This is the path that we need to be on in order to reach our soul's mission, our soul's purpose, in order to break away from what it is that we have been doing and give ourselves an opportunity to create something better in the place and in the space of the things that have fallen apart. This isn't the most pleasant of interactions, but of course, the mind is working overtime with the moon in Virgo energy. And what we're being kind of illuminated to right now is stepping back, acting as the observer, surrendering, if you will, to these swirling energies and really see where it is that maybe we haven't given enough time, energy, effort into planning, into strategizing what it is that we actually want to build, what we actually have to bring to life, what it is that we have to actually bring to a completion point in order to start fresh and start new. The moon is then going to interact with Mercury. Mercury, of course, rules over the Virgo energy that the moon is in. Mercury is in Libran energy, trying to balance the scales between our heart and head, trying to blend our intellect with our intuition in order to gain perspective on where it is that we have to be a little bit more forthcoming with expressing what's going on in our inner realm in order for us to compromise and negotiate new terms, especially when it comes to our relationship dynamic. Now, this is a favorable interaction, which means that the moon, our heart space, and Mercury, our headspace, has an opportunity to have a common ground. They're on the same page. They're in agreement. Now, it is likely because we are processing our inner realm at such great rates that we are kind of plucking out the negative narratives, where it is that we've been too hard on ourselves, where it is that we're too critical, too judgmental, not only of ourselves, but of the world and the people around us, and where it is that we do have to clear the air in order for us to actually move on. The moon then going to interact with Chiron, who of course is retrograde in this Aries energy. This is a positive interaction, which means that we're gaining a lot of perspective on where it is that we have grown, where it is that we're still growing, where it is that we're making progress in kind of sorting through the emotional realm of where it is that our fears, our doubts, our insecurities, especially emerging as this brand new version of self and getting started and creating a new realm and a reality that is more in alignment with our higher selves than our ego selves, where that is actually snapping together. Now, granted, we might not have as much clarity as we would want at this particular point in time, but we are aware of what is going on in our heart space, in our head space, the good, the bad, the ugly, and we are tapping into a more positive, more optimistic, more warrior type of spirit in order to really, again, confront some of the issues that have us stuck in a looping pattern. This is growth. This is progress. This is healing in all the right ways. Now, the moon is going to go ahead and interact with Pluto. Pluto is the great transformer who just went direct here on the 10th. So there is a little bit of time, a little bit of space, a little bit of an energy where we have to acclimate. The power is building. The control that we need to take back in our lives is definitely coming to a head. This is not the greatest interaction, but what we love about this is that where Pluto does the deep dive in our deep psyche and Virgo energy does the deep dive in our lower level intellect and in our heart space, we are picking things apart. We are analyzing. We are unearthing rocks that expose to us where there has been unconscious thoughts, emotions, memories, patterns that are keeping us stuck in the same loop. What we know to be true is that everything gets intense when Pluto's concerned. What we know to be true is that we are building in our confidence and our self-esteem to take more of a creator role in our lives. But again, the Virgo energy needs to identify what isn't working in order for us to fix it, for us to heal it, for us to repair it. The moon in Virgo going to trine, beautiful interaction with Jupiter. Jupiter is the planet of growth, expansion, beliefs, abundance, some blessings there too. Now, granted, he's retrograde in this Taurus energy, so we're not seeing a whole lot of growth, a whole lot of transformation in our physical realm as of yet, because that energy is internalized. We need to grow up within ourselves. We need to step out of the comfort zone within our belief system, especially when it comes to what it is that we tell ourselves is actually possible for us. The moon interacting with Jupiter in this way turns the volume all the way up on boosting our mood, our attitude, bringing a little bit more of an optimistic, positive type of narrative into the mental plane, into our emotional understanding. This is definitely where it is that we need to remind ourselves, where we have a choice to orient to the happiness, to the joy, to the comfort, to the pleasure of our physical realms, plucking out the silver linings when we can. Again, having the attitude of gratitude goes a very, very long way. Now, granted, we're taking a logical and practical approach to this. We're not losing ourselves in la-la land, in imaginary land, if you will. That Virgo energy and Taurus energy is earth energy, keeps us very rooted, very grounded, very much in the common sense type of perspective. And again, we're really figuring out where it is that we have to get organized, where we have to kind of provide ourselves with a little bit of assurance, if you will, that we have our shit together, even if we don't feel like we do, starting with our physical realms. You can take a good look around at your home and you can tell your current mental state by the presentation of your rooms, of your home, of the state in which you're currently living in. Virgo energy, perfect opportunity to clean, to organize your physical realm, to organize your environment, and realize when everything is cleaned up, tidied up, put in its place, you actually have a better frame of mind, you have a better mood, you have a better attitude. This is a great time to challenge yourself to get your environment in order and watch how that has a major impact on getting your heart and your head in order as well. The moon is going to go ahead and semi-square, creating a little bit of a tension, a whole lot of conflict with Mars. Mars, of course, in these final degrees of Libran energy, he's just shaking. He's just so ready to make this move, to jump into his rulership in Scorpio energy, to get out of the intellectual battlefield and actually have the ability to take action, to make moves in order for a major change, a major shift, a major transformation to take place. But we're not there yet. The moon interacting with Mars in this way is definitely going to highlight the frustration that we're having, the agitation that we're sitting in, the restlessness that we're experiencing, the anxiety, the anticipation that's coming over us. We're just a ball of jittery nerves. At this point, we have a lot of impulses, urges, desires coming to the forefront. We can't wait to get out of this energy and into a space where we're able to actually feel like we know what we're doing, like we know what we're supposed to be doing, what we have to be doing, and of course, relying on our intuition in order to guide that process. The moon then interacts with Chiron again, not in the nicest way. Now, this particular aspect, of course, is very needed in order for us to identify where it is that we're uncertain, unsure, where it is that we're really not feeling as confident as we need to feel in order to really boss up, take control, and put those fears and doubts and insecurities behind us. Now, of course, this is going to open some wounds, but we need to open up the wounds and be aware of the wounds in order to actually fix, heal, and repair them. Again, what the moon in Virgo is all about. This has a lot to do with the imposter syndrome that many of us are feeling. The old self is dying. The new self hasn't quite anchored in. We don't know how to kind of shift our mood, our attitude, our essential, let's say, personality from who it is that we had to be to who it is that we want to be. And therefore, there is a lot of fears and doubts and insecurities coming up to try and convince us to just continue to play small. And of course, we're not in the particular point in this great awakening to continue to play small. We have to be the light in which is shining within us. And that means standing out, even if it means standing alone. Now, the moon is going to interact with the sun, and lucky for us, this is a positive interaction. We have the moon in Virgo, the sun shining a bright light in Libran energy. The moon, typically speaking, has us reflecting back in the past. The sun is shining a bright light in the future. And what we get here is the overlap of this present moment in the here and now. So this is identifying what isn't working, what we're no longer aligned with, what we no longer want to experience. We're recognizing what isn't working, what we've outgrown, what we no longer want to be attached to. That is the moon in Virgo, analyzing the choices in which we made, how it is that we've gotten here, our present moment, to a T, really picking things apart, focusing in on the smaller, minute details on how it is that we even landed here in this present moment to begin with. The sun, of course, shining a bright light on our future, and in this Libran energy, showing us where it is that we have to achieve balance. How do we achieve balance? We address the concerns of the areas in which we've already identified aren't working. What does that do for us? That leaves us in the present moment where we have to take control over the smaller details of our lives, the habits, the narratives, the thoughts, the emotions, the words that we're trying to kind of articulate within ourselves, that we can come to some sort of understanding and then be able to communicate them outwards. So this is an overlap, leaving us in this present moment to really kind of identify what we actually have control over in the here and now, and what we're actually going to do about it to attempt to balance the scales within. Venus, the goddess of love, beauty, worth, pleasure, and money, who is now in Virgo energy, taking a logical, practical approach to new values, to our new priority list, to taking care of ourselves, to healing ourselves, to really kind of reorganizing and restructuring our lives to create more happiness, joy, safety, and security. Venus is interacting with Chiron in such a way that does not feel good. This is definitely going to illuminate a lot of wounds. This is definitely going to put us in a situation where we feel dysfunctional in relationship dynamics, in our social scene. It feels like we're withdrawing. It feels like we want to create a little bit of distance, especially to those that we feel closest to, because we don't know how we're thinking and feeling, and we really don't want to be influenced, triggered, activated by anyone else until we figure our own shit out. Now, there is a huge tendency with this particular aspect to focus more on the differences, all of the reasons of why it won't work, all of the reasons of why we shouldn't even try, rather than similarities, confidence building, possibilities, hopes, and wishes. There's a little bit of a negative Nancy narrative that comes out to play. Now, we're going to end the day off with the moon in Virgo energy, making a positive interaction with the North Node in Aries energy. So something shifted. Something has been pieced together, an aha moment, an epiphany. We're taking a good look at where it is that we were confused earlier on in the day, not even knowing where a baby step was even giving us an opportunity to make a change and to move forward. And now we see it. We're putting together a little bit of a plan, a little bit of a strategy. We are seeing the direction, if you will, unfold. Now, let me just give you this disclaimer. Because we're in Libra season, because indecision is high, because we are kind of pulled in two different directions, we are gaining more and more clarity as we go through Libra season, but no decisions will be fully committed to or made. And most of the time, we are coming to a certain decision by the elimination process of really kind of discounting, discarding one of the options that we're currently being pulled between. So this does kind of indicate that we're gaining a little bit more information. We're gaining a little bit more organization in our heart space, in our head space. And because of that, we're weeding out the pros and cons, leaving us to lean towards one particular option and choice and decision over the other.